Hey, and welcome to a very long awaited episode. It's been a couple of months since I've been back, and just getting back in the swing of things. So, I've been, oh, okay, I'm knocking the table. Um, so, where to begin? It's been about 2 months since I've given any kind of update, so that puts us at right before I left for vacation, back in December. That feels like a while ago. Okay, so we got back from vacation. Um, excuse me. Vacation was pretty cool. I have to say, one of the really neat things that I really focused on when I was gone was being present with family, with loved ones, with all the things. So, yes, Christopher and I did gym things. We were at kind of a smaller, limited gym, so I really focused on mobility stuff. We were walking a lot, carrying backpacks, carrying kids. We drove there, so it was like over 20 hours in a car one way for the full extent of the trip. So really, also just making sure that I recovered really well within vacation, so that when I got back home to my normal gym, I could really start to kick ass in this growth phase. And it's been a pretty cool experience. So I came back, was kind of just doing a little bit more mobility stuff for a couple days after I got back. Because being in my 30s, like I didn't take a trip like this in my 20s, but I definitely went on airplanes and stuff where I was sitting, and my recovery was different. Now I have to, like, it's really important for me to do mobility stuff pretty much every day if I want to be at my best, be at my best movement wise, injury free, recovery wise, like all the things. So it's something that I'm really have as a staple now that I used to not. And there's a lot of value in it. Um, so the gym has been pretty awesome. We moved my lifts from 5 days to 4 days because I really like 4 day splits. Um, I'm not preaching them like it has to be 4 days, but I find that with 4 days, I am in the gym enough where I can get satisfied, like I'm satisfied with that I'm in the gym and I can bang out really good sessions and also have enough time to recover. So I have two like real off days and one more mobility day. All three of the off days I stay in movement, I go for walks, I go for bike rides, stuff like that. But it's working out really well. We have increased my calories twice now. We're gonna wait 1 or 2 more weeks on the raise that I just got last week, and we will determine from there if we're gonna raise them a little more or keep it another week. So we're definitely out of maintenance, and I feel good. It's interesting to be on this many carbs, or just calories in general. Like I like it, and it's giving me a lot of room to experiment in the kitchen with different ways of prepping food, different ingredients for food. I really enjoy the space that it's given me to play in the kitchen and do things with recipes and all that. Obviously my Instagram handle is Fit Chick Foodie, and I love food, and I feel like I'm very passionate and a huge advocate about food needs to taste good. Like, no one wants to be in a life where food is boring, where we have to boil chicken, where we have to eat like gross ass rice all of the time. Like, I remember in a prep is a little different with food, but I still believe that it needs to taste good. So after some really shitty preps that I've had, or food structures where I like was eating gross bland ass fish and rice, and it's disgusting. I just don't want it. And when we have food like that that really just like makes our face shrink up or shrivel up or whatever, it's more likely that we will go off track, that we will end up, just ditching it for food that we know we're going to like, which also can lead to binging. So the restriction leads to binging, and overeating and going off plan and all the things. So why not just make our food taste good so that we stay on plan? So having the amount of calories that I'm on right now really lets me not only really lets me expand on that. So like my food always tastes good, whether I'm in a prep for show or whether I'm in a growth phase. And being on the calories that I'm on now gives me the room to play with a lot more recipes that I can use later on while I'm in prep. Just maybe like one at a time, not two or three in a day. But yeah, so that's training, that's food. I will say my biggest experiment right now is gluten. So, for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that I went gluten free in 2018. It was a really great decision. It gave me a lot of insight about how my body was reacting to it, about the level of sensitivity for my digestion, like how sensitive my digestion tract is. It gave me a chance to see how much inflammation there was. And I haven't really, like, I've had gluten from time to time, but not really, like, in big amounts. And the last, I would say, probably month, I have had pancakes twice a week. And let me tell you, they have gluten in them. I am doing something a little different. I'm not going like off the deep end. So I gave myself some parameters. I'm being a little scientist with this. And it's a really fun experiment because like there's pancakes involved and I'm obsessed with pancakes. Like if you ask anybody who knows me, I'm obsessed with pancakes, especially blueberry pancakes. But anyways, that's a story for another time. So with my gluten experiment, I am making sure that it is not processed. So if I have gluten, I'm making it. So it's either like homemade cookies or homemade pancakes or something. I'm not eating it more than once a day. And I'm not eating it more than like 2-ish times a week. So I say 2-ish because Sundays I make pancakes for Christopher and the kids. And those are like full glutinous pancakes and they're real good. And sometimes I make like a little like silver dollar pancake or two that I nibble while I make everybody else's pancakes. My glutinous pancakes have about half the amount, so I use half gluten-free. I think this one is brown rice and sour gum mix. It's from a company, I don't remember it, but it's a gluten-free mix. So I use half gluten-free mix, half whole wheat white flour, and then some protein powder. And I mix that all up with the other ingredients to make pancakes, and they come out really amazing. And I use them on days where I know my body's gonna like really put them to good use. So typically leg days, and I have 3 leg days, yeah, like 3-ish leg days a week. But I'm eating in 2. Is that right then? No, I have legs. I have legs twice a week, right? Legs, chest and shoulders, legs, back. Yeah, twice a week. So on the leg days, I eat the pancakes, and it's been going really well. I've really been monitoring my inflammation levels. Some of the things that happens when I have a big response is my hands get really tight, my feet get really tight, like they're swollen, and they're holding a lot of water. So I'm really being mindful about that. My stomach gets kind of bloated and starts pushing out. I know that I definitely have like need to take time off when after I eat it I start to have this like relatively fast reaction of bloat that looks like I'm distended or like pregnant or something. So I haven't had any of that yet. I've been really open and honest with my coaches about this experiment that I'm running, and we've been really monitoring where I'm at. I do have a little bloat, just not like to the extent of this is gluten and it's a huge inflammatory response. It's like I'm eating a lot more calories, and my stomach is full a lot, and it's not so full that I'm like stuffed and can't eat anymore. It's just like I'm pretty satisfied most of the time, and that's just kind of what that's from. So I am also at the point in prep where I am getting comfortable with not really having any ab lines. Like I have a slight amount of definition still. I don't want to get so crazy in this growth phase that I have to work super hard to lose a bunch of fat when it comes time to prep. So I'm only up maybe 6 pounds from what my starting weight was when I began this prep. And I don't know that I want to really throw numbers out there because I don't want anyone to feel the need to compare. I have been at this for a long time. I've been competing close to 10 years. Yeah, actually 8 this year. It'll be 8 years. And I've been doing this, I've been in the fitness lifestyle for closer to 13, 14. So I've been doing this for a while, and I just feel like everyone's journey does look different. And so to give you my numbers where you might be close to them, you might be far away from them, I don't want any comparison as far as like, am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it right? Am I close to what she's at? Blah, blah, blah. Because everybody's different. But I do want to like be here as an encouragement, as somebody you can see who is also going through a lot of the process. Because I'm not going to lie, when I started to really not wake up and see as much ab definition, I really had to just sit with myself for a sec and be okay with it. And that wasn't always the case for me. So there was a time where I would have started to pull my calories back a little bit, do more cardio stuff, do way more bike rides, try and get more steps in, really try and just stay at that low. But that's not the purpose of the growth phase. And if we don't trust the process while staying within the parameters, it's really not going to work the way I want. So I'm going to get on stage and pretty much look the exact same and not have had any significant amount of change. And that's kind of not cool. For all the work that we're putting into this growth phase, we want to see some byproduct of it. So for my experiments with gluten, to bring it all back around, for my experiment with gluten, it's going really well. I don't feel like I'm real bloated. I feel like I'm giving my body adequate time to digest and process it all before I put more in. Other things I'm doing to also support myself in this is castor oil packs. You've heard me talk about this a lot. It has really, really helped with cutting down the inflammation, with helping digestion, with helping my quality of sleep, which equals quality of recovery, which means that, which is like huge, because if we only progress as far as we recover, especially as more natural athletes, sleep is like our superpower. And I heard someone say that, and I loved it because it's so true. So yeah, that's my fun experiment with gluten. I feel like it's gonna be a really big surprise when this comes out, and I am here for all of the questions, if there are any, because I'm sure that there are going to be some. So comment below or shoot me an email, head to my Instagram, shoot me a DM. Like, I want to know if you have been curious about it, if you've gone back and forth between eating gluten or not eating gluten, or if you've never tried it or if never gone without it. Because let me tell you, I didn't think I had a gluten intolerance until I stopped eating gluten, and I saw the difference in how my digestive system worked, how the inflammation went away, how a lot of my lethargy cleared up, how a lot of the swelling went away. And so I'm sure you're thinking like, well, if you had all these benefits, why are you trying it again? Because I have been off of it for a while, and I now have a lot more knowledge around how to, like, that it's okay for me to eat it in certain quantities. And there are different ways to support myself outside of that to make sure it doesn't disrupt where I'm at. Because in addition to the castor oil packs, I'm also taking some turmeric milk, which helps with the inflammation, which helps ease the digestion, all of this stuff. So it's good. I'm not saying I'm 100% back with gluten. Like, I'm not eating any not produced. I'm not eating any processed gluten. So, like, breads from the store or really anything you can buy at a store. If I eat gluten, it's because I make it. Otherwise, it's gluten-free. Like, I have some gluten-free bread in the fridge right now. I had a gluten-free bagel the other day. I don't want to go so crazy that I shock my system because that will mess me up. And so the time frame for digestion health or like working out inflammatory responses and playing with the idea of seeing how you react to different foods like gluten, I just want to break it down for you a little bit. So it's about 3 months. So when I first came off gluten, I needed to stay really consistent for about 90 days, 3 months, to let my system really work it all the way out. And that's like that for your hormones too. So if you, like, the cycle or bleed week that you are about to go on now represents how your lifestyle was 3 months ago. I just think it's interesting how the hormones or the hormonal and the digestive system have the similarities like that. So in that 3-month waiting period, while I was not eating gluten, it was really important for me to also just be really aware of all this stuff. So progress pictures are really big, measurements are really big, documenting the differences really helps to show long term, because we look at ourselves in the mirror every day. We put clothes on every day. We're in our bodies every day. And although sometimes it might feel like we can see changes, there is no comparison to being able to take pictures and put them side by side. I'm a huge advocate of it because what we track, we're able to then really see the data of and make way better decisions about what our next steps are. So that is my little plug. If you're not tracking your stuff, start tracking it. And you don't need to track it with a scale. Honestly, I've gone through periods where I just don't weigh myself because it messes with my brain. So I did the other measurements. I did pictures, video, and tape measurements. Like with a tape measuring, just that worked really well. And now I'm at a point where the scale is really comfortable for me. Like, I see it as just a number. I don't hold the connection to it that I used to. I used to be somebody who would weigh herself every day, write it down, and then beat herself up about it or get on herself. Or when I went to go reach for food, that number would pop up in my brain and it would really dictate whether I ate some food or not, or I enjoyed myself or not, or anything. And we're not here for that anymore. So I am just really grateful for that growth. And it's a journey. I feel like all of us have that part of our journey. And if that's something that you're struggling with or you're moving through right now, I feel you, I see you, I understand, I have been there, and if this is something that you resonate with, I would love to talk to you about it or be here listening while you talk about it. If you have questions, I am also here. Please reach out. This is something that I'm really, really passionate about helping women through as well. So I'm here, and use me. So that kind of wraps up that part of the last couple of months. The last week or two, I've been writing down different topic ideas that I wanted to talk to you about, and gluten was a big one because it's a really big life change. Like I said, I really haven't eaten gluten on a consistent basis like this, and since 2018. So yeah, close to 5 years, 4.5 years. So it's big, and I really wanted to address all the pieces about it. What else? So 4 days ago, it was my birthday, And yeah, some big stuff. So I am I usually do some reflection work on my birthday. I'm not a big New Year's resolution girl. However, I am a big birthday girl. Um, I really enjoy coming to the end of a year and just thinking back about where I was the year before, all of the stuff that happened during that last year, whether it's in growth, whether it's with business, whether it's relationships, whatever it is, I feel like it's super all important because it mirrors each other. And, this is something that I kind of wanted to address as well as one of my other topics about how I find it interesting that a lot of the lessons and experiences that I'm going through in one area of my life mirror another area. And typically it's like within myself and my business, mirroring what's going on in my relationship. And I have a really beautiful relationship. Like, Christopher and I are just, we communicate really well. I'm not saying that we are perfect. We both have our stuff, but and it's been a learning journey of each other and ourselves to get to this point. And so it's just interesting how some of the stuff that builds up inside my body, inside my head, inside my mind, inside all of these pieces of me that I see that stick out more to me in my relationship once I've sat down and thought through it and worked through it and digested it and really come to a resolve. Then it also, I see it resolve in other areas where I didn't really see it as clearly, like in my business or in my fitness lifestyle or whatever it be. And it's just a really neat observation. So it's my it just reminds me of the line, the quote, whatever, that is like, as is the microcosm, so is the macrocosm. So if you're seeing or feeling like there's some parallels or you get frustrated with similar situations in different areas of your life, I would encourage you to just take a minute and think about how they all compare and just be a little introspective with it. Because it's interesting, I'm not saying that it's our fault or that we have to beat ourselves up about it, but just to see where our part is in it, because there's always two sides to everything, and it's not that one side is right and one side is wrong. It's that we have different perspectives. We come from different backgrounds, and as much as Christopher and I are equally yoked in a lot of our mindset, we both have very different lives that brought us to this place. So, understanding our experiences, understanding where the other person is, the other person's intention, just knowing them, is really, really big in this too. So just taking kind of our own, taking account of our own stuff, especially when we see it mirrored or reflected in multiple areas, is a big, interesting part for me. And I'm sure that now that I am actually talking about it, I'm going to have some stuff come up within the next week or so that is going to let me relearn this lesson or re-experience it, because that's typically how it works for me. If I talk about something, or if I have a realization, or if I share something, I'm usually then also tested on it to see oh, okay, you want to talk about it? Cool. Why don't we go through it to make sure you still have this lesson down, or you still are learning this lesson, or whatever the case it may be. So I will have to keep you updated on my Instagram stories, my posts, and all of that about how that works out. But that was an interesting part as well that I wanted to expand and open up on. As far as my birthday goes, this last year has been really, really amazing. I feel like I'm probably gonna have to do another episode on my birthday stuff. So maybe that will be next week, or the week after, because next week we have a guest. It's our first guest. I never intended to have guests on this on this channel. But here we are. And yeah, it's my good friend Heloise Hunt, and she is amazing. She is a love, sex, orgasm coach, I believe is what she labels herself as. And she's just a really beautiful soul. We're going to be talking about some big stuff. So you'll have to tune in next week for that. As far as other stuff for me, I am just keeping things really simple. So I don't really do New Year's resolutions, but I have words that I like to. I'm playing with the idea, I like to have some words this year that I'm just working around. Like this year, it is simplicity and integration. And last year was really busy. So I had a schooling program that I was in for the entire year, and it was amazing, but it was also a lot. It was really heavy mentally and emotionally, and it was a huge time commitment. So now that that is no longer in session, I'm really focusing on keeping my schedule really simple. I do work some hours at the hospital. They're like pretty early hours, like 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. ish. And, as a more natural athlete, the sleep is really important. And our peak sleep window is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's where peak recovery happens. That's where, peak quality sleep can happen. And I'm missing like half of it because I'm up at 1 a.m. and going to the hospital. So being really mindful about keeping my life really simple and structured has been huge this year. I've been in this schedule since we got back, so for a little over a month and a half now. And I gotta say, it's been working out pretty decent right now. Excuse me. So I will wake up at 1, go in, do my hours, and get home. The sun is up before I get home. So the sun has kind of like given me a little boost of energy. And so I usually like putz around the house and do something mindless, like house chores or clean or water my plants or something simple. And then by like 9, anywhere between 9 and 10, I start to get tired. And so I go down for a nap, like a 3 or 4 hour nap, wake up, go to the gym, come home, do stuff for my business, and then get all my stuff together. And I try and be asleep by 8-ish. I'm usually closer to like 9-ish because, Christopher doesn't get home and I want to see him and spend time with him as well. So, yeah, that's kind of the rough setup. And making sure that I stay in that has been super, super important. So I'm also somebody who has a history of being a chronic workaholic, and I will load my plate up with whatever I can if there's room on it. Like, that is my past behavior, and it's very, very deep ingrained. There's a lot of stuff that goes around with, like, self-worth and working my way into being loved or liked or valued or validated or any of the stuff. It's been a really, this is a lot of the stuff that I went through my schooling program last year that I dug into, that I started to see more of. And I think that's the really beautiful part, is that once we start to see these parts of ourselves, we're able to view them in a way where we can shift them. So I'm not saying that all of my work ethic or as much work as I did was bad. It just was maybe a little misplaced. I still have great work ethic. I still work really hard. I still am very much the person who can get shit done. And I'm really proud of my work ethic and all that I'm doing and all the things. And now I'm not putting it on myself in a way where I feel like shit if I don't get all the stuff done, or if I, say no to something. So having this 3 or 4 hour chunk in the middle of the day where I'm sleeping, has been really something that I've really had to stick to, because I know that if I don't get sleep, I am a bear. I don't recover as well. I'm snippy. Like, my mood is shit. My brain health is shit. So it's really important for me. Um, and so just keeping really things really simple with doing what I need to build what I'm set up to build here, with freedom of life and freedom of schedule, and getting to a point where I can move out of the hospital hours and do more of my business stuff that I love, with helping women with their hormonal and digestive health, helping women with our physical fitness, helping women really maximize their efficiency in the gym, doing just all of the stuff that I love doing within my business. And also, we are right now in a phase of prep, growth phase for my pro card this year. Like, I've been competing for a while. I haven't really had a solid attempt where I'm like, I'm gonna go for a pro card. And this year we're gonna go for a pro card. And let me tell you, I'm so hyped about it. And I have to really show up like a pro now. I cannot wait till I get like the pro card to start showing up as one. I have to show up as her before I become her. And the last like 4 or 5 months of the year last year, that was a huge message for me that I really thought about a lot, put a lot of practice in, and now it's just like more second nature, where I'm like, okay, cool. How does this future version of me act? How does she set up her day? Or like, even what are her thoughts? Like, or like, is what I'm about to do something that she would do? Um, like, the pro me is not going to jeopardize her sleep to putz around or try and get a bunch of shit done on her computer or whatever, because she knows she needs her sleep. And just like little stuff like that. So my words for this year are simplicity and integration, with all of the things that I had realizations of last year, with all of the pieces of myself that I have identified and really started to love and be more appreciative of. I really just want to have some time to put it all into practice. And so that's what I've been doing so far this year. It's working really, really well. And I'm not gonna lie, I definitely have had some down days where I do feel kind of funny about not having ab lines, or I feel resistant to wanting to take a nap because I feel overwhelmed about all the stuff that I could be, should be, maybe needing to get done. And a lot of that, again, is like, I have to sit with myself and really have a discussion about the legitimacy of the overwhelming thoughts. And I'm sure this is something that you probably, experience too, especially if you've been here for a while and you follow me. I just feel like, we attract a lot of the people who have a lot of the similar mindsets. So if overwhelm is something that you have a lot, or the anxiety buildup, or the overwhelm that leads to exhaustion or depression tendencies, like, I get it. I get it. I literally was in one last week, and coincidentally, it was also my bleed week last week. So the last couple of weeks I felt real fluffy. I felt just, I could feel a lot of the buildup start to happen. And I had to continually remind myself, like, you feel fluffy like this once every 4 weeks. Just give it time. Stick to the plan. Because that's the other thing that I used to do, is that I wouldn't stick to the plan. I would gut it, and I would do some extreme measures, and just telling myself to give myself 2 weeks before I have a discussion with my coach, or I do any decisions or change anything. And so I woke up today and, like, I feel pretty good. I woke up from my nap like an hour and a half ago. And yeah, I feel decent. I don't have deep ab cuts, but I feel good in my body. I'm where I should be. health-wise, I am really grateful for having a bleed week because there have been times where I didn't because of where my body was at. And, you know, I am just going through the waves, going through the ebbs and flows of life with all of the knowledge and experience that I have gained over the years. And I'm really grateful to be able to have this platform to share it with you because I feel like that is why we go through the things that we go through, not only for our own growth and experience and knowledge, but also to share it. This is why I'm such an advocate about hearing stories from my mom and her mom and where we come from and the older people in our families, because there's a lot of value to it. And I just feel like it doesn't get credit enough and we don't talk about it enough. I'm from a line of people who we don't air dirty laundry, we don't talk about shit. I have one side of my family that we just don't acknowledge any of the crazy, wild stuff that goes on. And I feel like it's important that we do because that's how the next generations have the knowledge to do better and to change. And so I am a huge advocate about talking about all my stuff. So I'm here for you if this is something that, if anything that I have said or do say, helps you, encourages you, empowers you, or even just resonates with you, like you're in the middle of going through it, reach out to me. I want to have a conversation. I want to talk to you, or I just want to support you while you talk and you figure out your next steps or how to go about doing it. That's that's my spiel on that. I'll get off my soapbox a little bit about it for now. But that is where life is at. That is a brief little 35-minute wrap-up of the last couple of months. And as for me, for today, yesterday I had my first seminar workshop. I really am excited. Being in this, teacher type of role is interesting to me. On here, I feel that I can talk at a little bit more ease pace, and being in front of a bunch of students, if you will. Last night I just noticed that sometimes I would start to feel short of breath, or I would talk a lot. I found that I was breathing a lot through my chest, which signals the sympathetic, the stress flight response, fight or flight response. And so sometimes I would just have to take a breath, get back down into my body, just get back down into my belly. But it was a really great experience. It is Lift Like a Girl workshop and seminar. So we go out onto the gym floor. We go through a lot of the exercises that I see a lot of the beautiful women coming into the gym and doing that maybe can just be done in a more efficient way, a way that really helps support them and their female anatomy structure. I had a great turnout. I had some great women that showed up. And I'm going to be doing more. I'm very excited about it. It's something that I really want to get more comfortable with too, as someone who has always done one-to-ones or in-person one-to-one coaching, going to a class where I'm actually just talking and teaching and doing all the things. It was a different experience. It was neat, and I think I have a lot to take from it. Maybe I'll dive into that in another episode as well. And so as far as all of that goes, I am going to be doing some more of that. I have some exciting business things coming up. And that's it. We're going to keep our words of simplicity and integration. We're going to keep building for this pro card. We're going to keep doing the steps and just checking the boxes. And I feel like having simplicity and integration as my words really gives me the space and permission to also be really present. As someone who used or who has a a habit and a pattern of always looking to the future or always having her mind going. Keeping my to-do list and my priorities to a minimum really has allowed me to enjoy my life more. I'm more present with Christopher. I'm more present with the kids. I'm more present just with me in my house. And I don't know why I feel an overwhelming urge to cry right now, but it's with gratitude at all of the things that are shifting and moving and being, and that I get to experience in this chapter of my life that I never really expected to be in. So I think that's where I'm going to close this out. Once again, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you enjoyed this episode, I would love to know. Please give it a 5-star rating, subscribe, share it with a friend who you think would find this helpful or interesting. And if you have any follow-up questions, if you have topics you want me to discover, to go over, if you have questions you want me to answer, whether it's about nutrition or exercise or female health, hormonal, digestive, or even about mental and emotional health. Mental and emotional health and awareness are huge parts of my business. It's literally why I went online, to be able to give the women that I work with more space to build the emotional awareness, to build a relationship with themselves. I just really wasn't able to do that when I worked in person on a gym floor. And it's such a critical part of making sustainable, lasting change that I needed to give it space within my business to really have an impact on these women's lives. So I'm here. I'm here for all the conversations. I'm here for any questions you have. And head to my Instagram, send me a DM, head to my website, send me an email, whatever it is. Today is Tuesday, Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, y'all. And I am going to see you very, very soon. Don't forget, we have a guest coming on, our first guest. I'm so excited. And stay tuned for that. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, keep being awesome.